Hey Hunters, Lord here, back with another Monster Hunter Wilds video. After clocking in well over 20 hours on the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test between PlayStation 5 and my own personal computer, I wanted to give you guys a concise rundown of my experience with the game, my personal thoughts on what was good, what was bad, and what needs to be changed, as well as give you guys some more information on the build of the game that we played with the beta to help clear some of the air around the performance issues and other concerns. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So we'll start off with the things that I liked and enjoyed in the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test. Now remember, this is from my experience with the game on my computer, my PlayStation, so if you had a different experience, you have different hardware, that's okay. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to be nice to each other down there. We can chat about stuff that we liked and disliked and still be civil with each other. So first of all, I thought that the monster designs are incredibly good. We did only get 4 large monsters in the beta, but they were all very well done. I thought the fights were fun and well paced with a lot of give and go, and I felt like they were pretty fresh. They didn't seem to copy anything one for one from some of the older games. Secondly, while I know that the weapon changes aren't universally loved, as a lot of playstyles have changed, I think that each of the 14 weapons still feels like its core unique identity. I think they've done a good job of freshening things up to make the game feel unique, while not straying so far from each weapon's identity. Now, multiplayer was really fun. I played a lot with some friends during the full open beta portion, and we never really had any issues. We had a couple disconnects, just like 2 or 3, but those people who disconnected were able to come back into the game and instantly rejoin this same hunt. This was something that we haven't had in previous games, so I really enjoyed that feature. The game ran just as well with 4 players hunting at once as it did in my solo hunts, and the ability to link up with friends to join and create quests together was very simple and it worked well. Next, I generally liked focus mode. I think it is implemented much better than the Clutch Claw, and it doesn't really hurt the flow of combat, and generally just helps with hitting the part of the monster that you're trying to hit. One gripe that I do have about focus mode is that I think the ability to re-aim your attacks in the middle of the attack animation is a little bit too forgiving. Part of the Monster Hunter experience is being punished if you don't line up an attack correctly or if your timing is bad. It helps you learn, it helps you get better. Now, I know some of you might disagree, but I'd like to see the amount that you can readjust your aim mid-attack with melee weapons and still hit the attack turned down a bit, maybe 15 to 20% less. Being able to do a full 180-degree turn to hit an attack that you aimed the wrong way is a little bit too easy mode, in quotes, for my personal taste. I of course get the appeal of trying to help out new hunters. I just think it needs to be dialed back just a little bit. Now, I think that the new offset and power clash attacks are super cool. I just really wish that every weapon had a chance to do one of these new interactions. But hey, maybe that's a good way for Capcom to get hunters to try out some new weapons. But personally, I liked them a lot. I thought that the addition of certain timings and charge attacks to make new offset attacks was a good addition. The sound design in this game is just amazing. The monsters sound great, the dynamic soundtrack is super awesome, the environmental effects, it's all so good. It's incredible how the sound design gets better in every Monster Hunter game. I really don't know how they do it. I really enjoyed the new pop-up camp feature. Putting them down and having to manage their safety is a cool feature. I had mine getting destroyed by Balahara and Toshagama all the time, and that was frustrating, but it forced me to find new camp locations that were better and safer. Being able to start and join quests at any time in the field is an immaculate feature that just always keeps the ball rolling. There's so little downtime between quests, you can really just jump in and keep going and going and going, and I really enjoyed that. Overall, for the good things, I think that the game still feels very core Monster Hunter. The combat is fluid and rewarding, the environment is stunning, and the experience with friends was very good. All in all, the things that are good about this game are very good. Now with that said, let's talk about what I didn't like. So first of all, we really cannot talk about Monster Hunter Wilds without talking about the performance, so let's go ahead and get that shit show out of the way. Overall, on my personal PC, it was very solid performance. I ran a mix of settings, some medium, some high, some low or off. on 1440p resolution with the DLSS set to balanced and frame generation on. Now with these settings, I never dropped below 70 FPS during hunts. The only time I dropped any lower than that was in the hub area with all the NPCs and players being rendered in, which just, again, is part of that CPU bottleneck that we're experiencing with recent Capcom titles. To me, however, that is fine. I care more about my game running well during hunting than running well when I'm just standing around in a hub waiting for everybody to ready up for a quest. However, as you can see with my PC specs here, I'd like to not have to run frame generation at all. I had a lot of friends with a lot of different PCs have varying results, but in general, while it wasn't as bad as we expected, it was still a far cry from what we all agree a game like this should be performing at. Now, with that said, this is an older build of the game. The beta version is older than even the one the developers are using right now. I'll leave a link to a tweet from Monster Hunter in the pinned comment down below, but the performance is already much better on their current developer build than it is in the build we played for the beta. And they're going to be spending the rest of the time until the game comes out solely focusing on optimizing the performance across all platforms. With the performance, for me personally, being both passable and playable during the beta, with the beta likely being multiple iterations behind the actual current build, I have some pretty good faith in Capcom to have a much better performing product at launch in 4 months at the end of February. The other big issue that I had during this beta was that the monsters changed areas way too often. Like, look at this clip from my last Ray Dow hunt before the beta went offline. This is about a 3.5 minute clip, I sped it up of course, but he changes areas 4 times in 3.5 minutes. It is literally obscene. Now, from what I've heard others say is that the area changes and the weather speed were sped up in the beta to showcase more of the map and how things work over the course of this relatively shorter time with the game, and that it won't be this bad in the main game. However, this was just honestly ridiculous, and while focus mode doesn't hurt the flow of combat, the frequent area changes certainly did, and I really need them to make sure that it is not this bad in the full game. Once again, I just want to say that I did have a ton of fun in the open beta test. If they can continue to upgrade the performance, I think that we're in for what could be the best Monster Hunter game of all time. Remember, once again, the current developer build is already running significantly better than the beta build. We still have 4 months left to release, and they are dedicating all 4 months to optimizing the game. Of course, I'm not handing out any free passes with how some games have come out over the last few years. We still expect it to be better than this beta was, but we do need to remember as a community that this is a beta test. This is not the final product. There's a lot of development time left for things to get better. So guys, that's about it for this one. Please let me know your thoughts on your playtesting in the beta down in the comments below. Remember to keep it civil down there, guys. If you did enjoy today's video, be sure to leave a like down below. For more Monster Hunter Wilds content just like this, but also including sets, guides, tutorials, news, and much, much more, be sure to subscribe to my channel. This is going to be the best place to find Monster Hunter Wilds content now and when the full game releases, and subscribing is the best way to make sure you never miss an upload. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. I wish you all a great day, and happy hunting.